So basically what I said was, Gina, come out here and look at this burrito.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dale Bush.
One of the things about last week's podcast episode that I liked was that because long before we sat down to record, I basically knew what we were going to be talking about.
Yeah.
In way more detail than I normally do.
You didn't need to take any notes?
And, well, I did take notes, but I already had the episode title and the graphic done, and I made up all the YouTube graphic and the website graphic. All this stuff was done ahead of time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Usually I have to, go back and listen through it and say, what am I going to call this one?
Yeah.
And then figure out what the picture's going to be and all that. So all that was already done.
Yeah.
And that saved me a lot of time
sure.
last week. And the week before that, I didn't have to record the podcast.
No.
I just had to pseudo edit it. I still had to plan ahead and take that photo at the Super Chunk show.
That's right.
To use.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of an idea. And then I just took one of the very first things you said as the episode title.
What was it called? Do you remember?
Somewhere with the T-Rex.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Which several people have asked me what T-Rex there is in Asheville, and the answer is none. There's none.
There's probably tar there.
It's the Tar Heel
state,
so weird
right?
that you thought of that because it was nothing doing with what I was doing.
Oh,
it
no,
didn't have any.
I wasn't trying to give clues or anything. I wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I just thought there was some connection to it. Normally you don't just make things up
Jurassic
that much.
World came out that weekend.
Okay.
That was it.
Sure. I didn't see it as that.
It was topical. I haven't seen it either, but I knew it was coming out.
However, I do already have the photo for this particular episode ready, but it just means that I need to talk about that photo at some point to explain it. And it's such a non sequitur, and it's such a stupid thing, and it's...
Is it something we're likely to just talk about naturally?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not. The post office came by today, and the postal worker came in and said, hey, I've got some heavy boxes. Can someone help me with these boxes?
Okay.
So I went outside to carry these boxes, and while I was outside, I discovered something. And even though there were people in the store, I yelled to Gina to come out immediately and look at this thing.
Okay.
And that was what the picture was of.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So basically what I said was, Gina, come out here and look at this burrito. Because somebody had bought a burrito wrapped in foil.
Typical for Western Avenue.
Opened it.
Yep.
Took a couple bites. And left it sitting open on the bike rack.
Wow, I wonder if they were coming back for it.
I don't know, but I can tell you that...
for a quick bike ride, then they'll finish the burrito.
It was still there at the end of the day.
Wow.
So...
Probably inedible at that
point. No one touched it. And unrelated to the comic store, last night when I was leaving my residence to go out for the evening, I encountered... young Nicole from the basement on the landing, and we chatted for a while. And then coincidentally, as I was getting home, Nicole was coming back from Demo's with a couple boxes of pizza.
Okay.
When I was leaving, I had a couple of empty boxes of pizza.
Sure.
She's like, where are you taking all the pizza? I'm like, it's just empty boxes.
Yeah.
So maybe that inspired her to go to Demo's.
Probably.
But anyway, when we came in, she's like, oh, you got a bag of food waiting for you. I'm like, I do? And there was rocket food or rocket?
I saw it on the landing earlier today.
Yeah, so it was there from yesterday night, but it says Patrick on it.
Weird.
With Patrick number 619. And that's how I remember that number. And then on the back it says Edward with another 3-digit number.
Okay.
So it was stapled and taped shut, and I'm peering through to see what, I'm opening the thing that's in it. And Nikki goes, screw that, just tears it right open.
Sure.
And it was definitely perishable things.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, someone sent it to you, you better take it. I'm like, no one sent me this food.
Yeah.
This is a mistake.
It seems weird.
And when I left my residence this morning, it was still there.
Yeah.
So, yes. There was some jalapeno jerky. There was a Circle K hamburger. like the kind you just pick off of the heating tray at a gas station.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
God, yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah. And Nikki was like, you should take it. It's for you. I'm like, I don't... There's new people in this building. I don't know if somebody's named Patrick or Edward, you know?
Yeah.
But clearly they didn't care about it. And how did it get inside?
Yes. Well, it could have just been... So it was left outside, and then some other person in the building who it did not belong to.
Sure, brought it in.
I've done that before with stuff.
Sure.
People leave a...
Not with a bag of rocket food.
No, but like Amazon packages or like boxes of produce. If they're left outside, it's like, well, I don't want this to get stolen or...
Sure, yeah, of course.
Whatever.
Of course. Yeah, I just thought it was...
I would hope people do the same thing for packages of mine.
They do. In fact, I know someone who brought you home 2 large boxes today at the expense of taking home a box he wanted to bring home.
Ah, sorry. I believe that is a Hasbro Pulse Days order. The remaining half of it, and a couple Ame figures.
That is correct on both counts.
Yeah, I did it.
And I'll tell you what, I'll show up later. It's not a big deal.
Okie doke.
And talk.
The catalogs for Marvel and DC were both sort of released this week.
Okay.
DC digitally and then eliminated physically, because apparently there's an image saying that a scandalized movie star is appearing in a DC project. And while I think that project is still coming out at some point, DC Publishing definitely doesn't want to pretend that that guy has anything to do with the Flash.
Well, it's not as if he as a human was in the book, was he? It's just they're drawing the character look like him.
It's Ezra Miller's Flash, and
right.
They are...
Sorry, I thought you were not saying the name, so I was dancing around it.
I guess we'll talk about it for a second. So Ezra Miller, obviously...
What the fuck is up with Ezra Miller?
Involved in a lot of things that are...
Lots of things. Some in Hawaii with multiple arrests.
Vaguely horrifying, and, definitely delving into some disputed accounts of things, so it's hard to say exactly altogether what's going on, and certainly it's not my place as a very distant observer who is only mildly interested in the details to suss out like what really happened and who's responsible for what. But the long and short of it is that Ezra Miller is not exactly the poster child for your huge $200 million superhero franchise, and they are sort of in a limbo with Warner Brothers Discovery, or whatever the new company is called.
And they also are in limbo with the law. So they may not be able to appear in any subsequent other movies.
They filmed a movie. They filmed a gigantic movie, which I guess is part of the problem, is that you're way past the point of being able to recast. Movie's done, and you spent $200 million on it. Like, I don't know if you're going to get Christopher Plummer to come out and, like, film new Flash scenes to make this all work.
You're definitely not getting Christopher Plummer to do that.
It seems kind of tricky.
Didn't he die right after that movie?
I don't know, maybe. But anyway, so...
Can't they just digitize Grant Gustin's face on it?
I would love to see that happen. But anyway, Ezra Miller is drawn as the Flash on a variant cover for a Flash miniseries that's coming out in, I guess, September. That is based on the
his
Snyder-verse version of the Flash. And anyway, so apparently this was not directly communicated to us, but it was communicated to other retailers. Because of that cover appearing in the print catalog, DC has opted to destroy the print catalog that was being boxed up at Lunar Distribution, and advising Lunar Distribution to contact any accounts that may have received copies, instructing them to destroy it. Which is kind of insane to me, because Ezra Miller was the Flash in other movies. It's not like... I don't know, it's a very weird, to my mind, overcorrection. Like, it's not endorsing their lifestyle, it's just saying Ezra Miller was the Flash in a thing. You don't even have to print that comic at any point. You can change the variant cover, but suggesting that it was drawn, I mean, I don't know. It just feels weird to me. But anyway...
Pulping the entire run, or whatever they can get their hands on, because of one smaller image. I assume it was a smaller image because
it's a variant
cover's
cover
always shown small.
deep in the catalog.
Unless they were
like,
look, we have them as the Flash.
Yeah, I don't think it was like even the first issue of this necessarily. I think it was a later issue in the series. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So the print catalog for DC is going to be coming out 2 weeks after everybody else. Marvel's came out this past Wednesday. The Diamond catalog is coming out this upcoming Wednesday as we're recording. Yeah. And people are probably listening to this. And then DC's will be like probably a week, 4 days before they're due.
But it is available on Managed Comics, right?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't looked, but I assume that it is. And again, it was available digitally, so I was able to do a lot of the stuff I needed to do with the DC catalog last week. Just waiting for the Diamond stuff to be in hand to sort of finish it off. And then we'll send an email out to folks. But the weird thing was, the Marvel catalog, I don't know if you've looked at it.
I looked at the print catalog.
It's very slim.
It still felt like it was a crushing bombardment to my senses.
Oh, man. It felt... I genuinely had to look inside to be like, did they not remember to staple in like a whole 16 or 32 pages? Like, no, it's all there. It's
I don't want to
numbered.
make assumptions.
Uh-huh.
Is it possible they are making adjustments due to all the late shipping books they have?
That is 100% what's happening.
On a chance to not strangle retailers when everything comes out at the same time?
No, that's 100% what's happening. There's a bunch of stuff that was in the past catalog that has also shifted to the current catalog, and other things that weren't necessarily resolicited, but are shifting enough where they're like, let's produce a catalog of 75% as much stuff as we would normally put out in September, knowing that 25% more is going to be coming out due to things rolling out from July and August. So yeah, that is definitely intentional.
It's still going to be too much stuff. It's just that they're actually planning for it this time.
Yeah, it just means that looking through the catalog makes September feel like, I don't know, maybe nothing's coming out. But there are things. I don't remember a lot of what's coming out in the catalog. I know that they're doing that, I don't know, I think it's in the new catalog, that Miracle Man special. Is that the next, is that later?
I think it's the next catalog, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The big thing is All Out Avengers.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know if that's even that big a thing. Greg Land doesn't seem to get people very excited, and I like Derek Landry, but the concept of let's do an Avengers comic, but with all the things like character developments and subplots and exposition and stage setting and non-action elements feels like the solution to a problem that no one brought up.
Also, they're using the same logo design as they did for, like, No Way Out or...
Did they?
Those Al Ewing weekly books or bi-weekly books or whatever.
Oh, No Surrender?
Yeah, those whatever those were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there were two of them. One of us gave us Immortal Hulk.
They did, it's true, yeah.
So it's that style logo, but not that concept.
No, it's definitely not. The concept
it's not a writer's room.
So
it's
weird
not a rotating artist.
Yeah, the concept is kind of weirdly difficult to articulate because it is just all action Avengers, but I never looked at an Avengers comic and thought,
there wasn't
God,
action.
There's no action in this superhero team book.
There's a lot of action in Jason Aaron's Avengers and Avengers Forever.
Quite a bit.
It's also interesting to me that it's like, hey, it's all the A-listers and Spider-Woman.
Uh-huh.
But also, she's still in the red costume. Like, we can't ever get a new costume for her to stick.
No, never.
And honestly, I'm glad the black costume
sticking's
stick,
one of her main things.
I know, on walls even, and in your mind.
Yeah.
I love the Javier Rodriguez biker costume so much.
Yeah, it was the best one.
They should go to that. At least they made an action figure of it.
They did.
Minus the jacket. At least somebody sold the jacket briefly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty sure Gina Challenger has one.
It's a great design.
It's a great design. They should just use that.
You'd think.
Man, what a great run that book was. I had those.
Did you really? Were you buying those?
I don't remember.
I don't think you were.
I read those.
I know those. You read them. I don't think you bought them.
I get to say I had those to a lot of things.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I usually wouldn't question you, but when it's something from like the last 10 years, I'm going to be like,
you're right.
I don't know about that.
I read those, and those are great, and the trades aren't even in print anymore.
No, it's true. I wonder if with her appearing in this All Out Avengers, they're more likely to do like an ultimate collection of the Hopeless stuff.
Never. What was the partially Chris Burnham drawn Dark Horse sci-fi book based off of that prog metal band? Something Wars? Something with an A?
Oh, Amory Wars?
Yeah, somebody was looking for Amory Wars today, and it was all I could do
Cody
to
and Cambria
to
book?
not do that. That you just did right there.
It's cool, though. I mean, it's like someone coming in asking for Evil Ernie comics or, Insane Clown Posse comics. Like,
It's funny
that's
you say
adorable. You're
Evil
so
Ernie
young.
comics
You're so
because
young.
There was a Dynamite facsimile edition of Evil Ernie in the new previews.
Wow.
I chose not to carry it for
that's fine.
our rack.
That's fine.
Yeah, I did go in on like the Gail Simone Red Sonja facsimile edition
Oh, okay.
because it's a Jenny Frison cover.
Okay.
And it's a number one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the only facsimile editions I would really get outside of Marvel and DC stuff would be like classic-y versions of stuff.
And Chaos.
And I don't know what would even fit the bill for another publisher. Because, like, if Dynamite could do a replica edition of Marvel's Red Sonja, like, I don't think they can do that.
What was their
That's
free
difficult to
comic
do.
book day Red Sonja book this year? Because it was drawn by Frank Thorne.
Oh, I have
And
no idea.
they made it look like a Marvel book, but I don't think it was a reprint.
Huh. Yeah, no idea.
I don't either. And also, I'm not...
Like, what could Dark Horse ever
I could
publish
go read it.
that
I'm
would
just
be,
not gonna.
like, a replica edition that would be worth getting?
Speaking of that, somebody today asked for both Batman vs. Predator
Uh-huh.
and some other... I'm like, no, we can't get...
Oh my
it's
God.
impossible to get those. You'll never get those.
Yeah.
Give it a few years, you might get Spider-Man Predator.
It's true.
But it was someone who doesn't understand the idea of once a license leaves a licensee, they can't sell those books anymore.
Which is, I think, something that's becoming a little bit more common, not just in comic books where licensed properties are shifting back and forth between publishers, but it's also fairly common now in digital marketplaces for video games, where if a company gets the license to do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game, that license is for X amount of time, and when that time runs out, they are no longer allowed to sell that game in a digital storefront. Like, I can't remember what company, but someone had the Transformers license, and they'd released a game, and a couple years later, vanished from the marketplaces. Activision, I think, maybe had the rights.
Huh.
So if you had it and had downloaded it, you can use it, and if you have the license for it, as in you bought it from a digital storefront, you can keep playing it, but like I don't think you could re-download it because it's not on like the PlayStation Network anymore, and you certainly can't buy it. Which is, you can translate that pretty easily to comic books, where like there was a print edition and they stopped printing it because they're not legally allowed to print it anymore.
Can you imagine if in the music industry that happened when a band jumps from a different record label?
Yeah.
It's like, nope, you went from Century Media to Frontiers. You can't play the Century Media albums anymore. That's it. They're not supported on your device. You got to wait to see if Frontiers will re-release those.
That would be pretty weird. It's not great, and it's certainly a thing that for video games people are a little upset about as far as digital preservation, because the game isn't just a piece of entertainment; it's a work of art, and the idea of that art no longer being available because some license holder wouldn't allow it, or some platform doesn't have the obligation to retain it, all those sort of things, and that's not even counting like I can't play my PlayStation 3 game on my PlayStation 4 console, or vice versa, or whatever.
I want you to know that if I was doing that music analogy for you, I would have used Merge and Matador.
Oh, thanks, man.
You're welcome.
I don't even know, like, since I switched to Apple Music and streaming entirely,
You don't know who anybody
I have
labels
no
are
idea
anymore. Yeah.
who's on any label. It would never occur to me to look.
Well, if you followed all of them on Instagram,
I don't follow anyone on Instagram.
I know. Someone had the nerve to say something about needing you to do more Common Writer Instagram posts so they can... Oh, no, it was Marcelo, right?
It was Marcelo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he's been forbidden to.
Yeah, I got a different outlet for that now, so I'm fine.
Yep.
I'm pretty...
And may I just say, you're welcome.
Who are you saying you're welcome to?
To you.
Me?
Because you found that other outlet because
No.
I had said, hey, don't do that anymore.
No. I mean, I didn't care what you said. But I definitely found it otherwise.
Well, I mean, you still stopped.
I did, yeah. It just was superfluous. It was unnecessary.
How has that ever stopped you before?
I found a better, avenue for it.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm still taking credit for it.
Okay.
And I'm also taking credit for, and if I had literally any idea where I was going to segue to,
Yeah.
I would do it. But that segue is so open-ended,
Yeah.
You could plug anything
You could
in.
land it anywhere.
you can land it anywhere. recognizing when people come in today who are from out of town, who are only here to see the Forbidden Door this weekend.
I assume you're going to be seeing a lot of New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW t-shirts on Saturday, and I assume I'm going to see a lot on Sunday, considering the event is at the United Center, which is only a couple miles away from Challengers. So if you're going to be in the city for that, you might as well hit Challengers, which is just a little bit away on Western Avenue.
I will say that a very good brother texted this morning and asked if we needed tickets.
Aw.
But I was able to say, you know what, we're good. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. We're good.
I'm sorry, which of the Good Brothers was it? Doc Gallows, you just said.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, man.
Exactly
Oh, no.
right. Yep. My good friend, Doc Gallows.
I assumed, like...
You know, he was at the store
Carl
before.
Anderson, I thought you might have had a connection to, but Doc Gallows, Patrick.
Doc Gallows has been in the store, Dale.
Yes,
You've seen him, too.
They both have, it's true. Actually, I don't know that I
No,
was
Anderson never has.
Oh, really?
No.
I thought Anderson and Gallows were on, like, a cult podcast.
No,
it
it was Cliff Compton.
Oh, okay. What's the difference?
Gallows and Compton are not tag team partners. They were tag team partners that weekend. Only because Gallows had a pulled groin and couldn't wrestle.
Sure.
But no, it's a long-standing tag team partnership with
I see.
Carl Anderson, which neither of us really care for, so let's stop talking about that. We got a visit today, first thing, even before Gina got there, from a whole bunch of people rolling deep with the crew, as I told to CD this morning, from Infinite Realities, from their comic shop in Georgia. And they made it a point to come visit the store while they were in town. And they had so many nice things to say about the store, it was almost embarrassing.
Let's consider it.
Yeah. And they also use Shopify. They also use Managed Comics 2.0.
One of the weirdest things...
So there's a lot of commiseration.
A quick little parenthetical. I got a notification today from Hasbro letting me know that the Hasbro Pulse order was out for delivery. They use Shopify, so I could see the little, like, the Shopify, the Pulse Days discount is like, oh, that's how it would look if you got the I Love You But I've Chosen Comics store-wide discount. Like, it's neat to see that.
Did you notice Shopify's newest upgrade?
I know that they're like a Summer 22 thing that they've got. Oh, and how you do the apps is different.
That's what I meant, exactly.
Yeah, I like it better. You don't have to go to a separate screen that has to load and then pick it. It just drops down.
I don't care either way.
I find it a little bit more efficient.
Just like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
Boy, I hope it opens in a new tab, but it did.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it a little bit more efficient.
But yeah, Jamie and a bunch of other people whose names I apologize I can't remember. They had very nice things to say, and we talked about wrestling, we talked about comics, Shopify.
Great.
And we talked about how sad it is because one of their people's favorite tag team is out with injury. So, no Redragon available for him to watch.
Oh, no.
Kyle O'Reilly is officially out with injury, so...
I'm sorry to hear that.
He was in a Redragon t-shirt.
Was Kyle O'Reilly, is it like a sympathetic injury because of Bobby Fish being crippled by Darby Allin?
I think that's just a storyline injury. But when TK was talking about Kyle O'Reilly's injury, he was almost weeping.
Wow.
Like, he's like, we didn't expect it. We never saw this coming. It's like...
You'd said he really believes in Kyle O'Reilly.
He seems to really believe in Kyle O'Reilly.
Which is cute.
Yeah. And for the record, we know it's not pronounced Redragon. That's just how we call them.
It's true. If you watch the AEW programming and they come out, the graphic says Redragon.
It says Redragon. Yeah, but the people from Infinite Realities, I've not been to their store. I don't think I've ever been to Georgia.
I've driven through Georgia a bunch.
We'll stop at their store then.
Well, probably not anytime soon.
Okay. They stopped at your store.
They did. It was very nice of them.
And bought stuff, which is fine. But yeah, it's they came hard with like a good group of people.
That's great.
And and I said to them, like, I was in Nashville and I'm doing this. I did the same thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Went to all the stores.
Absolutely.
Which I talked about last week, so we don't need to talk about them anymore. Speaking about talking of things last week, I want to thank everybody who reached out and messaged and offered their sympathies or condolences or stories of similar tragedy.
With their collections?
Yeah. Whether it be toys, comics, or both.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a very common thing. But special thank yous to Josh Crawley and Heidi D for the giant box of comics that showed up in today's mail, which were... I didn't know that Josh collects so much Captain America that, for example, there's some issues he has 5 copies of.
That's
because
unusual.
Armadillo is in it.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me rephrase that. Now only has 4 copies.
Yeah.
Because he gave me one.
I guess part of the gift is to himself that now he can now buy an additional copy.
Well, see, I think it's better this way because it balanced out because he had 2 newsstands and 3 direct markets. Now he just has
2 and 2?
2 and 2, yeah.
Symmetry. That's nice.
There was a Cap 213, which is literally one of my all-time favorite Cap comics.
What's on the cover?
It is Steve Rogers is blinded and in a hospital, and it's the Falcon taking on a Night Flyer as the Night Flyer is shooting a dude in a hospital bed.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that Night Flyer issue was so good. They also gave me a signed by Mike Zack Captain America Annual 8.
Wow.
That is the Wolverine cover.
That is the Wolverine cover.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, I had that as a kid and it was so great.
Right? A whole bunch of, like, mainly...
Zack, not my favorite Wolverine guy.
Fine.
I think he draws Wolverine a little bit too tall and a little bit too lean.
A little too...
and I don't like
roundly angular, if that makes sense. Like,
no, but roundly specifically was the word I was going to use because I don't like how he drew the claws, because he draws the claws as, like, cones, almost.
Nobody
I
ever...
dislike that.
No one ever did a definitive version of the... You remember Frank Miller drawing the claws? Straight razors.
I like them when they're blades. Like, it's just like a little sword.
But
that
it
comes
has
out.
to be able to fit into his forearm, which is slightly curved.
Yeah, I don't care as much about that.
I know.
The whole idea of him keeping, 6 blades inside his forearms is one of those, like, you just got to go along with it.
Sure.
You just got to go along with it.
Along with a ton of Captain Americas from Jim DeMatteis and Mark Grunwald runs.
Mm-hmm.
A full set of Bitch Planet, including the
Triple
feature. Yeah,
wow.
Thank you. And a full run of all the early Amethyst, like the miniseries, the maxi series, and then another series,
Yeah.
and an annual, and then the Amethyst from the New 52 is what got Heidi into comics,
Wow.
or back into comics.
Well, and don't you have a sort of formative, like, Amethyst
Yeah,
story?
I do. That's why they remember that. That's why they sent
Yeah,
this.
that's good.
And then a variant cover from the Amy Reeder run. So all the early stuff, and then one from the 2 series
That's
after
very
that.
cool. Very thoughtful.
Incredibly thoughtful, and like the ones that were from Heidi, she went through with like post-it notes and wrote little notes on them.
Oh, nice.
Like specifically things. Oh, and there's another order that came in. Goodness, I had it. The order came in late while I was at the store today. I didn't take care of it. I just put it aside. What do we got?
It's all just this week's stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything we're out of, but I don't think so.
Okay. It's just that, like, today, I meant to do all that stuff first thing, and I couldn't for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't like when that stuff is waiting, because it takes
sure.
me... Because, what if we have a rush of people in the beginning of the day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, big thanks to Steve Davidge for a copy of Captain America 117, First Appearance of the Falcon. He brought that in immediately after he
The
heard about
original
the collection.
Falcon, not the current Falcon.
Correct.
Sam Wilson
I
Falcon.
didn't think anybody in any way thought I meant the current Falcon.
No?
When I said Cap 117 first, so...
Sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who knows what Cap 117 that could be. There's so many.
Not as many Spider-Mans.
They never get past 30, actually.
As I'm going through the CLZ app and the Comic Collector app to inventory everything that I had, it is so frustrating to do because you can say, yeah, I had Amazing Spider-Man 2 through 900 in those boxes, but each issue has so many variants, and I don't even mean now, I mean back in the day. There was a direct market, there was a newsstand, there was a Canadian price, there was an Australian price.
Sure.
And you got to choose each one of those you go through, and then...
There was a brief period where I was doing an inventory process for Transformers figures, and I had sort of the same problem because you would say, like, oh, I have this Sandstorm figure. And it's like, okay, well, there's, again, different packaging variations. Like, this one's loose. It's just the U.S. one. But I'd frequently end up going like, oh, I did the Canadian one by mistake. It's not the one I had. I had the regular... Figure's the same, but it's a different listing. Yeah.
Also, thank you to Adam Rabachek for the kind offer of the boxes he had. and to Leah Guerrero for offering her long box of 90s Green Lantern or Green Arrow comics.
Sure. Connor Hawke is back again.
Yeah, he's back. He's in Robin. It's good stuff.
Rodolfo DiMaggio, really good art back then.
I don't... those aren't necessary, but thank you, everyone, for your thoughts. And for everyone who's writing in with advice or things I should do, it's being handled. Thank you. Nothing to update, although I did hang up on the detective accidentally this week when he called to update me because I did not... He didn't identify himself as a detective right away, and I thought he was a solicitor.
Did you scream profanities in the phone like you sometimes do with solicitors?
It was very early in the morning, so no.
Phew!
Yeah. But, no, you were correct on that other half.
I've heard it happen.
Absolutely do it. And will continue to do so. So no updates there, but I don't expect that there will be.
No.
And George also bought a Captain America 200.
Yeah.
So we have that coming as well.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was able to buy our last... Hello, I recently forgot to select shipping for my order. The person that just put that order in needs it all shipped.
Hot dog.
I mean, it's 50-50 now.
It really is.
What if we just turned off those payment methods?
I'll see what I can do.
Everybody, I mean, it's more convenient, but have you ever done a transaction and been like, I can't pay Apple Pay? Fuck it, I don't want to buy it. You pull out your credit card.
Yeah, I don't think on a website I've ever had that be a barrier.
Yeah, so
Sure.
maybe if we turn those off.
Sure. The problem is, I think some of it I don't... Like, I'll have to look and see if turning it off... Like, I still want to give people the option of using PayPal instead of a credit card. Because I know I've had instances where I would rather use PayPal than a credit card.
Yeah, but that's for shifty places that you don't trust.
Sure. We'll see. Here's the thing that's keeping me from just automatically doing it. I don't know that it would help. I'd like to think that there's a thing that we could do that would keep this from happening for people, but user error is still a thing that can happen.
I tell you what. If you turn it off and it doesn't stop, turn it right back on.
Okay.
If you turn it off and it does stop, also, if you knock those into things on the top shelf, I will be upset.
I won't.
Okay. Just saying. I forgot what I was saying before, but...
Okay. I'll give it a look.
Let's move on to a topic of your choosing.
Uh-oh.
Look, every episode, before we
Yes.
record, I say to Dal, I have nothing.
Right.
In some weeks, I say, no, I really mean it.
Right.
This is one of those weeks.
Yep. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's been going on this week. The problem for me frequently with these podcasts is that I've been out of the store for almost 2 days by the time we record them. So my ability to sort of shift back into, like, let's think about the store gear is difficult.
Yeah, but you also have that grander, let's talk about what's happening in the industry, because you get, you read up on that stuff, you know what's happening.
I don't as much as I used to, mostly because the sites that I would go to...
You knew that whole Marvel thing before I did. I just had to guess.
The places that would... Well, even that was never... That's not officially announced.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't communicate that stuff with us. It's... Like, the only site I really have now for comics news is The Beat, and their content is real hit or miss. Something may not get reported at all. It may get reported days later. ICV2 is so rarely are they covering anything of substance beyond just, like, a couple columnists and then a lot of just, like, press release printing. Mostly for game stuff. Like, they don't seem to cover comics a lot at all. And then everything else we get is just filtered through individual, PR people at different publishers.
Yeah. So, in that regard, we'd gotten a letter from our PRH rep asking for more information about...
I saw that. Dark Spaces Wildfires.
Yeah, from the IDW...
Originals.
The new the IDW Originals imprint. And they wanted to talk about the Scott Snyder book. And they just took 3 simple questions. Mm-hmm. What's customer reaction been?
Yeah.
What are people saying? Mm-hmm. And what more can we do to promote it?
Yeah.
And I knew that when that email came in, like, a day or so ago, that it would be left for me. I knew that you or Molly Jane would not jump to do it, even though it wasn't, like, And he did. It did say Dear Patrick.
Yeah,
so that's
well,
fine.
I think it came out on Thursday, so I just assumed everybody was going to take care of it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
She wouldn't.
She has access to the same data you do.
Our rep called this morning, and I think he emailed us about promo posters or something we didn't really care about. Also,
Sure.
and we ignored it.
Oh yeah, one of the other IDW original books.
Yeah.
I think.
And so he called this morning, but he called right when we opened,
Sure.
when all those people had come in, and Gina wasn't there yet.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, Nico, I'm real sorry. I don't have any time to talk. If you want to just give me 15 minutes and call back, I'll have time for you then. He's like, I just want to know if I can send you a promo. Yeah, sure, great, fine, thanks.
Yep, go ahead.
Didn't even wait to hear what it was for.
Nope.
Just said yes. And then I said, I do know I need to get back to you on that Dark Spaces, is that what it's called? Wildfire
I think so.
book. I can't remember the title. That's how important it is to me. So I got back to him later today, and basically, what is customer reaction? We have 3 people that signed up for it.
Yeah,
And you and I talked about, not it specifically, but we mentioned the books.
Yeah.
When we talked about the IDW originals on a couple podcasts ago.
One of our customer emails.
It was called out.
Specifically in a, like, hey, Scott Snyder's doing this new book at IDW, which went to all of our subscribers. And apparently 3 people said, yes, that sounds like something I want to read.
I couldn't even tell you what the synopsis is. And what I told Nico was that basically it feels like
firefighters?
Scott Snyder is... another order. Look at that. They just keep coming. Why can't people do it when I'm at the store?
2 copies of What If Miles Morales #4.
Oh my god, really? Come on.
Sure.
Come on.
It's a hot book, Patrick. Because it's racist.
Buy comics for better reasons.
You can always refund that person. You can just say,
Man.
like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, if it's... And I mean, I guess this is not to segue into anything, but if you get a book where the author has to come out and say, that was racist and I apologize, maybe we pull it. Maybe we say, you know what? Don't speculate on this. Do not speculate on the book that is racist. Like, that's a thing we can easily say. I don't mind missing that $7.98. If someone was buying it amongst a stack of books because they're like, I like Miles Morales, I like What If comics, I like Marvel comics, I would maybe caution them, like, hey, by the way, there's some stuff about this issue, you may not want it. But when someone's buying 2 copies, they're doing it because it's valuable, because it's scarce, because it's offensive.
Sure.
Like,
You're right on all those things.
I really think we should refund that person and go, you know what, we're pulling this book. Forget it.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's up to you. I feel... Generally, I don't care if someone wants to speculate on a book. I don't like it, and I wouldn't do it, but I understand how baked into the industry it is these days. They're trying to separate out the people who are actually going to appreciate a book versus people who are just hoping it increases in value is a fool's errand. But this particular book, no. It is offensive. It was an offensive comic book.
And there's also like a 1 in 100 chance that it is like a single mom or single dad who has twin boys, and one of them loves Miles Morales and one of them loves Thor.
There's no way that's the case. There's no way. And I mean, I would just send a message saying, like, hey, I'm sorry, we're canceling this order. This book is pretty offensive. We're pulling it from the shelves, whatever. Like, if you want to do that, I don't work tomorrow.
I mean, that's less work for me than actually pulling the books and stuff.
Yeah.
Then I still got to pull them and change the quantities.
Yeah.
Also, I'm getting a barrage of texts from Robert Burns right now, who is apparently drunk and, quote, my face is fuzzy.
Okie doke.
It is, though. Bob has a full beard, so his face is always fuzzy because of the hair. I think he means other things, though.
Oh, no.
So I just like to call it out, so when he eventually listens to this back, it'll transport him to exactly where he was at the time he was texting.
Sure.
So he'll know when we were recording.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And also, it's been a long time since he texted while we were recording.
That's true. Or maybe it's not true. I don't know.
No, it is.
I don't really keep track.
Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I know the point of having a website where people can buy stuff is 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I just don't like being a race against the clock when I get in to remember to pull those things on the off chance someone
Of course.
brings it up to the counter.
Sure. I've had that fear.
And then you're like, oh no, I knew that was for...
There was an order I forgot to pull for like about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And someone bought a similar item and I went, oh no, that's our last one. oh God, we had it, and I should have pulled it, and then it was like, no, we had a second.
We still
one.
had
It's
a
fine.
little mini Thor figure.
Yeah.
That was the order.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's weird because I was filling out some paperwork for something earlier this week, and they were asking about, like, you know, it's a storefront, blah, blah, blah. And for the first time, I'm like, oh, no, it's also a website.
Yeah,
a website that sells
it
things
is.
as well. But luckily, they didn't ask me what the percentage breakdown was in sales,
Oh,
because
man.
it's negligible.
Yeah, I would say under 10%.
Yeah. I mean, I think 10% is high.
Yeah.
But it's hard to equivocate, especially specifically because a lot of those what gets kind of web sales are actually subscribers.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, all of the mail order subscription people get processed as online sales, and occasionally, if we have to invoice somebody, that counts as an online sale because they pay online.
Yeah.
They don't pay in the store.
Yep.
Oh
man, speaking of paying, the charge terminal died.
Oh no!
Outright died.
Oh no!
Yeah, because it was so overused today, and I guess the heat makes it die as well.
So
it went down to 0 power.
But you can't start it again?
No. Before I was leaving, I got it to start again. But
Sure.
after you'd plug it in, and it took a while. So we were using my phone for a while.
Yikes. Maybe it's time to get a new one, or not.
Because those are way too expensive. And we
They really
had
are.
another one, and it went missing.
And they've made a bunch of changes that make that terminal less fun.
Yeah, and I don't want to do, 24 more months of payments for
Right.
that.
Well, this is a separate conversation to have later, and it has a bunch of...
I know exactly what you're going to
perils
say,
in
and it's a thing we have to hold off on for a while.
So I don't think it is, mostly because the aspect of it that you're thinking of can exist without the actual terminal. Like, there's a way to do it. It doesn't depend on our using that service, believe it or not.
Well, I would need to have that explained, but this is not the way to do it.
Nope.
And also, we want that option available in the future for when it's ultimately necessary, which is obviously not any day now because we can't.
No,
but
let's hope it doesn't come to that.
it's coming to that rapidly.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, so we didn't have anything positive to report to PRH for Dark Spaces. I'm writing that down. Dark Spaces Wildfires.
Yeah, which, as always, we'd rather be honest with a publisher or with a creator.
Or a distributor.
I don't think it does anyone any good to be like, no, everything's great. Your book's doing great. It's doing amazing.
I did mean to read that PDF. I just never got around to it, and I'm a few weeks back on my PDFs now.
Yeah.
I haven't read anything in a minute. And
No, me neither.
there hasn't been time.
Nope.
I was explaining to a friend last night how much extra work everything is, and they just didn't quite get it because they don't know how we do what we do.
Sure.
And how why different distributors means so much more work. And it was almost frustrating because it's like, well, because it is. And like, they weren't trying to solve it. They weren't trying to be like, what if you did this or this? They just were trying to exactly understand what I mean by so much extra work.
Right.
And I just got to the point where like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I hate doing the work. Why do I want to explain why I hate doing the work?
Yeah. The details are not fun to rehash.
There were a couple of large transactions today that took a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I know we're getting there. I know we're, hopefully August is a target for the Managed Comics Shopify tile.
Sure. It's still been 7 months.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 months for us.
6 months for us.
7 months. Well, another month left to go. I mean, that's
And
a lot of months.
I know
man.
it's not their
It's a lot of
fault. I
months.
know that. Just having to do it every single week is draining.
Yeah, I have largely tried to avoid doing subscriber transactions on Wednesdays because it's just so mind-numbing and so exhausting to do it, and I would rather switch out with Molly Jane occasionally than just sit there at the register. Like,
Sure.
I I don't
One
enjoy
of the
that
things
process
that
anymore.
Gina does, which is pretty great, is if the person is shopping around before they check out, she writes you a note that says Marvel $3.99 $11, Marvel $4.99 $4, DC $3.99 $5.
So she could do that, but the faster way might be just to do it in a cart and then save the cart, and then that person comes up and you're like, the cart's already ready to go.
Yeah, but what if I'm ringing up other people while she's doing it?
Oh, I mean, if that's the case, then you can't do it that way.
Also, I don't think I've showed her that there's carts.
Okay. Because I want to say Molly Jane's done that sometimes, where she's prepped a cart for someone and then that person's wandered off, and so it's just like.
And I've seen Andrew do that as well.
Yeah.
It's not because we've never had them before. I don't think about it.
Sure.
When someone's like, I left my wallet in the car, and there's a line of people, my first instinct isn't like, oh, fine, we'll just save it in a cart and go to the next person.
Right.
But Andrew's there to say, just put it in a cart. I'm like, oh, right, we can do that.
Yeah.
That's why it helps that we're surrounded by good people.
Definitely.
Gina was a GB rock star today. Helped out a ton.
Good to hear.
And there wasn't even we had no I didn't mean we had no special projects. I mean, there was no time for special projects.
Sure.
But it was all a lot of check-ins and stuff. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, the fourth Laura Kinney statue was hers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it on her account?
No, because we ordered it before there was Managed Comics.
Okay, because I made sure I checked open
Yeah.
special orders, and nobody else was down for
No.
it.
So
that sucks.
what that made us do was now in the pre-order section of the special order book are all the new to order things she remembers ordering. Because I'll show her new to order stuff when we work, and she's got SA Figure Arts, Top Machinations, Thor, Mighty Thor, Doctor Strange.
I'm sure I've got some of those. As well.
Yeah.
Mighty Thor, I think specifically was the one I ordered.
Yeah, I mean we have 5 of those coming in. So,
Yeah.
So that way because at that point she's like, should I just tell you everything else? I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Because when you new to order it, it doesn't exist in a system yet, so you can't tag it to somebody.
Right. And one of the problems we found is that when it's new to order, it has one code. When it goes to the Diamond catalog, it has a separate code.
Yeah.
We can put someone in under the Diamond catalog code, but what comes up on our invoice might be the new to order code, so it won't flag it in Managed Comics System to say, hey, by the way, this is the item someone's down for. I had to eventually go through the all the open special orders to look for stuff where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that came in already. We need to pull that for a person. I did that a week and a half ago, I think.
One of the things I started doing is that anything new to order we get, I edit it so it's not replenishment, that it's search local, because when they show up, they're not. It's difficult to do things.
It can be. Yeah.
In a replenishment order today, we got even more copies of Magic Order Volume 2, Number 1.
Why?
A different cover.
Why?
I don't know. Also,
Back on the shelves.
we got a Reanimator trade.
Okay.
That when I logged in through Managed Comics, no one is down for.
Okay.
Then I'm like, we would not order
There's
this.
no way. Yeah.
Look it up. It was for Stella.
Okay.
So I deleted it from her account and just put it in her box.
Sure.
But why does that happen?
I don't know.
Why does the thing that gets logged in through Managed Comics not pull up a special order?
It's probably just because the code it's under is not the code it's in the system.
Yeah.
I've had instances. We had a difficulty where the Catwoman East End Omnibus, all of the Brubaker stuff, came in. And
interesting, you went with Brubaker and not Cook, but I'll allow it.
Cooked a little bit. Brubaker did all of. So
Brubaker's not dead, Dal.
That's true. He's not. Knock wood.
Oh, that's good. That's a good alibi in case something happened to me.
Yeah. So we get a copy of this gigantic Catwoman omnibus, something we would not normally stock for the shelf, and we go through the Lunar Receiving, and it doesn't flag for anyone. And I go, that seems weird. A, I don't think Patrick would order this for the shelf. B, if I was doing FOCs and I saw that one copy was just being ordered for the shelf, I'd probably take it down to 0 because that's a very big, expensive book to just hope somebody buys. There's a couple, not to do a little segue, but there are a few omnibuses recently where I've been like, yeah, let's order one of those for the shelf. Like the Silver Surfer slot, all red stuff.
That stuff was so fun.
Because it's all out of print, you can get one book of it. Like the Gwenpool, I think I maybe did, and something else maybe. But anyway, so this one...
I can honestly tell you, while I read all of the Slot Silver Surfer, I didn't own it. And
Now
I
you can.
didn't own the Gwenpool.
Um,
That's just it. Like, I don't know if I want that Question Omnibus, because I don't want more heavy books on my bookshelves.
sure.
I had those comics. I loved those comics. I don't... When I said I don't want them back. I wanted my copies.
Right, of course.
But having that omnibus, like, that's such great material. Will I ever open that omnibus?
Yeah. Probably not. You're never going to sit down one
And I
day
know
and be like, I'm going to read a bunch of
going to
Daniel
be
Neal
out
questions.
of print in a month.
Probably. So anyway, this Catwoman omnibus, right, I end up looking in the system and look through the special orders, and sure enough, one of our subscribers is down for a Catwoman East End omnibus. So I'm like, okay, how did this not get pulled for them? So instead of going off of our invoice, which had not found it, I'm like, let me just do find additional items, and there's probably like another Catwoman omnibus that I can choose, and it's going to be that one that gets pulled.
Yeah.
The problem was, when you go to find additional items for that Catwoman omnibus, yes, there are 2 of them. They are also identical in every respect. The image is the same, the price is the same, the title is exactly the same. So it's like,
I don't know, pick one.
There's no code to say like, okay, well this is the UPC or the Diamond code or the Lunar code, so I know which one it's not pulling from. So I basically ended up having to add both of them to a new order, and then once I got to the subscription screen, one of them had a subscription, one of them did not, so then I had to go back and ignore one of them and keep flagging which one I was ignoring to figure out which one, to make sure I wasn't ignoring the one with the subscription, I was ignoring the one without the subscription, but they're identical, so it's hard to tell which one is doing the right thing. But anyway, long story short, yeah, we did have someone down for that Catwoman hardcover, and yes, we then were able to put it on their Managed Comics account, but it was a situation where...
And I'm sure Gronk is very excited.
For some reason, there were 2 of them, and the one that was on our invoice wasn't the one that was on someone's account. And that is definitely a frustrating element of Managed Comics that I hope gets corrected once and for all at some point in the next few months. That would be super duper great.
I mean, I hope they have a solution for it, because it sounds like it's a weird thing out of their control.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the solution is one of those going forward solutions.
Yeah.
Where things ordered after a certain point are now given a bunch of different variables, so however you receive it, it's going to find one item for all those different variables. But stuff before that, there's different items.
Oh, it's so fun.
It is fun.
It also made me think, like, do I need to go through everything on this replenishment order? But no, everything else is basic, like, critical role trade.
Sure.
I'm sure that's not for someone specifically.
You'd think.
Or they just never get it and we're a terrible store.
Sure. Whichever.
So here's another mistake that happened to Frank today.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 books that we had received for him recently.
Okay.
That he bought from us like last year, that got flagged for him because whenever, let's say, Image relists Deadly Class in every Deadly Class trade for the month, in Managed Comics it comes up that, oh, you have 2 subscribers to Deadly Class, and it wants to order 2 of every volume.
Oh, okay.
So most of the time we catch that stuff.
Right.
But when there was a Devin Crayson fantasy book, Wildlife or Wild something.
Okay.
And She Could Fly Volume 3. Frank got She Could Fly Volume 3 when it came out.
Okay, so the She Could Fly Volume 3 possibly might have still been on his account, because there's a bunch of stuff that I had to find recently that people, I guess, had ordered because it was relisted in the catalog.
Right.
And it was relisted as a new item, so I found a bunch of stuff like that.
Or they didn't order it, and the system ordered it for them because of what I just said.
I know 2 specific things that were part of that whole search and find.
Yeah.
The customer who I put them on their account bought them in front of me, and they were like, oh, and they were talking about why they ordered it. So it definitely was, some stuff was people seeing it in the catalog because it was reissued, and Managed Comics will list that as a new item, and someone going, oh, I never had that book, let me order that.
Oh, well, let me just say this up front. Mm-hmm. In the example I just gave of Deadly Class, I delete all those orders.
Okay.
Because I don't assume somebody's ordering 2 copies of all 10 Deadly Class or whatever.
Yeah, that seems like
literally when things come up that are relist orders, I'm just like, nope, not getting them.
Yeah, I would
And
prefer...
occasionally, sometimes that sounds like that's a thing someone ordered.
Well, I would prefer stuff like that not be listed in Managed Comics at all. I would prefer that anything just be a front list item and not a backlist item, even if a company's like, hey, we're going to resurface this one book because that creator has a new book from us.
Yeah.
I don't want people ordering stuff like that through Managed Comics because we might... Some of it, like one thing was like, I have this on the shelf. We have Bog Bodies on the shelf.
Yeah.
I know it got relisted because Declan Shalvey has a new book coming out from Image, but I don't want people ordering something like that from Diamond. I want them to order it from our website or come in and buy it.
It's funny you say that because we just sold it today.
Yeah.
From a pre-order, not from the shelf. A club member had it in their box today and bought it. Is that why you're saying it? Yeah.
That was one that from that whole thing where somebody had ordered it through Diamond, and it had been on their account, and I just went, no, delete. Let me put this in their box. Some stuff was just me reordering it from Diamond because it was like, okay, well, we don't stock that book, and we probably would not do it on initial order, so let me just reorder that right now.
We had someone ask for From Past Mountain today. I'm like, it was 4 issues. It's over. Well, can you get it? We can get 1 and 4. They have not announced a trade. I'd wait for a trade.
Sure.
But Dow, we were talking just a few seconds ago about Deadly Class, and I kept bringing it up over and over again.
Over and over again.
And I feel that this is now the time where I can officially announce to you...
To me. Just
to you.
Okay, good.
That we will not be having a Nick Dragotta signing.
That's true.
I'm very sorry.
Nick Dragotta, who doesn't have anything to do with Deadly Class.
No, but he was going to do a signing for us.
I did see those emails, yes.
So no Nick Dragotta.
Uh-huh.
Instead, and I don't mean instead like replacement, I mean, in fact, the official original reason for the signing in general is Wes Craig from Deadly Class. We'll be doing a signing at Challengers on a Thursday afternoon on, I don't know, August 6th? That sounds right. August 6th at like 1:30. It is the day before C2E2. He will be in town. He is from the far-off lands of Canada, so doesn't really make it to Chicago all that often.
August 4th.
And you will... Is it really? Is it the 4th?
August 4th is a Thursday.
Uh-oh. I think... that's fine. I'm sure it's the 4th.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't printed a flyer out or anything yet.
Sure. Anyway.
But he was hoping to get Nick Dragotta as well, but Nick Dragotta doesn't come in time. So, Wes Craig will be doing a signing for Deadly Class and anything else he's ever worked on. All of it.
All of it.
Gravediggers Union, Spider-Man's, The Batman. Anything else on that day in August. Also, we have a signing coming up with Adam Gorham from the Blue Flame from Vault Comics, but also specifically it's Godzilla themed for a special Godzilla story that he wrote and drew and has a variant cover for and prints and things. We know the date, we don't know the time, so we're not saying specifically yet because it hasn't come back to us with a time.
Okay.
But it's in July. And that leads up to the fact that our upcoming Jenny Frison signing in honor of her to-be-released DC poster book of poster prints of all of 25 of her works has been pushed back 1 week. So it'll be Wednesday, July 6th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That signing will be very exciting because we love Jenny. She's a great friend of the store and was part of the store before we even opened.
It's true.
So it's always great to celebrate her work because she's now such a big deal.
Yes, I'm glad to see she's a big deal.
Right?
That makes me happy.
And yes, so those are the next 3 signings. Jenny Frison, Adam Gorham, Wes Craig. We're getting big names, man. We're doing it.
It's nice. It's fun to do.
Working.
It's nice to meet some new people and to have some friends of ours back in town. Yeah, it's nice.
So mark your calendars now.
Do it.
We'll wait. Do you have your calendar? Are you doing it? Are you like physically writing on a calendar, or are you like putting it in your phone or your watch? Can you add dates to? Can you do things on your watch? Like, can you add a thing on your watch? I think you had to use your phone,
Probably.
right?
No, I think you can do it on your watch.
Okay.
I never tried.
I can't right now. My watch is charging because it didn't charge and it died.
Oh no.
We definitely need to get a watch charger for the store.
Okay.
And I said that before, and then I never did anything for it. And even when I just ordered a whole bunch of new supplies.
Apple will just sell you one. You can give them money and they'll give you one.
Yeah, but my point is I have to physically remember to order it. I just haven't done it.
Okay.
Also, I stopped at Walgreens on the way to the studio, and I go to check out, and I'm like,
oh no.
Oh, right, my watch is dead.
Oh no.
What am I have to get my credit card out?
Tap.
I mean,
tap.
I could have just used my phone, but at that point, I'll just pay with a credit card.
Yep.
This upcoming Wednesday is the release of Public Domain #1, and I tried to be clever with our email header this week.
Yeah, it was good.
Because I mean, it's legit. I pulled it from the solicitation.
It's a quote.
But I was hoping people would think that Chip Zdarsky was writing our whole email.
They did not.
I don't know. They might have.
No one said they thought that.
No one said, but you haven't seen anybody.
That's
You
true.
haven't worked since I got it.
That's true.
It could be dozens of people.
Yeah, for all I know.
And did you read the new Public Domain from today?
I did, yeah.
Oh, man. That
It was
book is
good.
so good.
I'm a pacifist.
So basically, what was it? A writer and a pacifist. So Public Domain is this upcoming week,
Yeah.
and the week after that is Batman 125. So it's a
Is that right?
good week to be in the Chip Zdarsky. Yeah, I just got the DC invoice.
Oh,
It's
wow.
the same
Yeah.
day as the Jenny poster book.
Oh, very cool. Big DC week.
It's a good tell your bank account.
I can't.
It is a good time to be in the Chip Zdarsky business because that dude is on fire
Yeah.
and very excited. Like, we've read the first four issues of Public Domain.
I have no idea what issue they're even on anymore.
They're on 4
Because it's just like a couple pages a week or
Yeah.
whatever, so I don't really pay attention to
So it's a
where we're
drama,
at.
but it's set in the confines of the
It's a
publishing industry.
It's a dramedy.
Okay. I mean,
it's
what I
Chip
mean,
Zdarsky, so
what I
he-
mean is it's a family story.
He's
It's
goofing
not
around.
Yeah. Oh no, it's great.
Uh-huh.
It just like I want to set expectations so people don't think it's as immediately like it's going to punch you in the face like a Superman comic or like Spider-Man life story with here's the great conceit and oh my god that ending.
No, tonally it's very much in line with Sex Criminals.
Yeah.
Very much in line with Sex Criminals. Way less sex, some crime.
Yeah, some crime for sure.
But tonally it's very much in that mode of there is, deeper, sadder stuff, and there is, some interesting family drama, but there's also the characters can be kind of heightened and goofy, and the world that they exist in is can be satirical and intensely comedic.
Yeah.
And it's Chip Zdarsky, so there are constantly hidden gags in panels, things written on walls or whiteboards or signs. That's just him goofing around.
If you don't get his free weekly email newsletter, you're missing out because it's very funny. It's
very funny.
Every issue has 2 different Chip Zdarskys. The one who's talking to you and then the one who's talking to that Chip.
Yes.
And the one who's talking to that Chip is usually very mean, but still pretty great. It was great because Steve Tramontana was in today, and he's like, what else should I be reading? And I got to be like, I hate this place. Do a power bomb. Make sure you're signed up for Public Domain.
Love Everlasting.
I mean, we didn't have it out yet.
Sure,
It's not
but
out yet.
I mean, if you're signing someone up for Public Domain...
Love Everlasting is great. We talked about it before.
There's another one.
But it was like, hey, you read The Closet? He's like, yeah, because you told me to and I liked it. Great, what about this one? Bought that in your recommendation as well.
Yay.
Excellent, we're doing good.
We're doing good.
It's a great time. Like, there's always... I love it when there's a handful of solid new releases I could be hyped for and say to everybody, read these books.
Yeah.
Public Domain is one of those. Love Everlasting is one of those.
To give a different genre, I read the first issue of the AXE Judgment Day that's coming out.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I thought it was really, really good.
And that's good because you had some trepidation leading up to it.
Yeah, I still don't know that a lot of the tie-in stuff makes sense to me as a premise of the book.
Yeah.
But the first issue is very upfront as to what story it's telling and what characters it's doing it with. And it is very, very, very much an X-Men story. If anyone was looking at the advertisements and was like, I'm not reading Avengers right now, or I don't care about the Eternals, at least in the first issue, the Avengers are by far the third most interested and interesting party in the book. It is very much the X-Men versus the Eternals, mostly from the perspective of the X-Men. If you are reading Immortal X-Men, definitely be reading Judgment Day. Like, it is not optional.
I was going to say, is it worth an email to the Immortal X-Men people? Like, hey, don't miss this book. It's...
We ordered enough that I think we can hand sell it at this point.
Yeah.
And a lot of people already signed up for it. So I don't know if that's as necessary. But I think it's definitely a thing where when we have X-Men people getting their X-Men books for the week and they're not getting Judgment Day, we're probably going to go,
Hey, dipshit.
hey.
Don't be a dipshit.
Hey.
You.
Come on, let's go. Definitely for the people who are reading Immortal X-Men, probably for the people who are reading Immortal X-Men and X-Men Red. Maybe not so much for the people who are just reading the Jerry Dugan X-Men. It doesn't feel like that's as much of where they're going with it. But yeah, it is one of those books that is going to probably be very crucial to the X-Men plots for the rest of the year. The series doesn't run that long, but it will have after effects that will, I'm sure, be touched on in a bunch of different books. And it's just a good comic. I don't want to make it sound like... Sometimes I dislike when the promotion for a book is you can't miss this if you're an X-Men fan or whatever, where it's like obligatory. Like, we're making you buy another book. Like, it was a good first issue. Valerio Schiti does the art, and it looks great. There's a bunch of very cool moments. I never thought of Kieran Gillen as one of those, like, widescreen superhero action comics, but he's really trying to figure out how to deliver that in his storytelling. I thought it completely hit the mark.
I'm sold. I'm going to go delete it from my subscription, then re-add it, just so I get that feeling of signing up for it again.
Those endorphins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to do that every day, just like so I don't think about all the other big Marvel crossovers that got stolen from me. I just be like, I'll get this one.
I mean, really, Secret Wars. That's probably the one that you lost. You weren't getting the other ones, the more recent ones.
No, but I mean, historically, every major Marvel crossover.
What other crossovers were there? Like pre-Civil
Original
War.
Secret Wars.
Pre-Civil War.
Secret Wars 2.
Okay, sure.
Uh-huh. The rest of them.
Secret Wars 2, I read that. Not a loss. Go on.
All of them. All the X-Men storyline crossovers. Those were things.
I guess I don't count those because I'm thinking more in the terms of, like,
actual series,
crossover books. Like, issues of, like, X-Men that had Inferno in there. Inferno wasn't a book.
I did have Civil War. I did have Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, again, not a loss. I mean, I guess it is now they're making a TV show.
Right? You know how much money it'll be worth?
Oh, no.
My God. I had the Ms. Marvel issue that had an obscure background character in it who's probably going to be in the TV series.
I was reading an article about the actress Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, who was talking about...
I think you mean from Last Christmas.
From
Thank you.
Terminator Genesis. She was talking about being in a Broadway production, but at the end of the article, they...
Of Terminator.
Maybe. I mean, they did a Back to the Future musical. I don't know.
I'll be back.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
At the bottom of the article, there's a reminder that she'll be appearing in the Secret Invasion series from Marvel, and I first went, oh yeah, she's in that. And then I went, oh yeah, that's a thing. Like, I genuinely...
Second one.
I genuinely forgot that, like, oh god, yeah, they're doing a Secret Invasion Nick Fury series. Like, it's so hard to remember all of the Marvel content now because there's so much of it and so much that was announced and in production and whatever, that, like, literally all I can remember is Moon Knight just ended, Ms. Marvel's happening now, Thor's in like a week or two.
And then She-Hulk's right after that.
Even She-Hulk is a thing where, like, oh yeah, that's probably, like, later in the summer, right? I don't know, sure. It'll be on and I'll watch it, and that's about it. But yeah, the days of, like, being super excited about the Marvel roadmap and the Marvel schedule, there's just so much of it. It's just like...
it's just
they
the
got
road.
They got my money, they got my interest. You don't have my anticipation. That's the thing I can't give you anymore. I can't anticipate any of it. I'll just go and watch and be like, yay, that was good.
Right. It's just like, you don't need to worry about what's next because it's going to be there. There's definitely going to be another episode of Contest of Challengers next week. So thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.